Welcome to Tuesday at 10, and we'll get started for those that are on time for the meeting. So start out with some updates that are going on. So first of all, we'll talk about National Association of Realtor updates. So the product that they provide to us, RPR, is getting some updates. They're updating the AI components of RPR with some new script capability and things of that sort. Also, it will be more capable in terms of producing social media ready posts for you. And coming up in November, they're going to have a AI CMA producer that will be available through their app. So keep an eye out for that. I'm sure you get communications from RPR regarding those things. And so that's something that's good news. And again, that's included in the fee that we pay to the National Association of Realtors. And in my mind, I think that's the most important thing that we receive from NAR, other than their advocacy efforts in Washington. And I think that the RPR tool is a useful tool that's provided to us. So, and one of the more useful ones out there. So, um, the second update on NAR is they had a legal victory recently. So, the Supreme Court refused to, well, didn't refuse, they just uh, tossed out a case from two lower courts that had been brought against them by the real estate exchange Rex. And Rex sued NAR and Zillow in March of 2021, alleging that NAR's optional no commingling rule violated federal antitrust law. Well, the Supreme Court declined to review that case, and so the case stands in NAR's favor. So legal victory for NAR, but that particular provision has been repealed anyhow, so it's kind of a non-starter anyhow because it was repealed. So that's it for NAR. Indiana Association of Realtors, really nothing going on new with IAR at this point. Um, MIBOR recently, in their most recent communication to us, talked about ARDI. ARDI is their um, AI support tool. Has anybody used ARDI? Has anybody used the AI support with MIBOR? No, I haven't either. Um, so apparently, there is a tool out there and it's available 24/7. However, it can't handle every question that you have. But because it works well enough, MIBOR has decided to reduce the amount of live support that they have. So effective immediately, the live support now will be Monday through Thursday from 8 to 5. So if you need any support after 5 p.m., it'll be RD only, no live. Friday, it will be 8 to 4:30. Why the 30 minutes less on Friday, I don't know, but Friday it's only 8 to 4:30. And of course, no live support on the weekend when we work. But so that's the newest thing with MIBOR. And their tech survey is closing here shortly. So if you haven't done the tech survey, you need to do it while it's still available for you. So that's it for my board. Realty World. Gabrielle Jeans has a class coming up, building conversions from social media. Should be a good class. As always, Gabrielle has tons of great information. And her class is on Wednesday, 10/22, which is tomorrow, and it's at 1 o'clock Eastern time. I highly recommend that you take the time to attend that training session with her. Now, continuing update, so Bold Trail will be going away December 31st or whatever, the end of the year. Bold Trail will be leaving Bold Trail. Lofty is going to be the replacement for Bold Trail. And Lofty was selected because it has better AI tools and is more user friendly than Bold Trail had become. And so they had gotten lots of complaints from brokerages throughout the country that just weren't thrilled with Bold Trail. And so they've made the decision to switch to Lofty. Um, the costs to me are the same as they were for Bold Trail, so it's a wash for me. I have not used Lofty. I've talked to some people that have, and it is highly rated, and most people do believe that it's better than Bold Trail. So at any rate, that will be available. I will be having discussions with you in terms of providing it to you. My goal is to do what I've always done is to provide subscription to DocuSign, Back at You Media, and a website CRM tool, and that's still my goal. However, I don't want to waste uh, my money providing things to you that you don't use. So we will have some one-on-one meetings coming up to talk about the coming year and the tools that we have available to you and whether you're using them or not, and et cetera. So uh, so Lofty is coming now. And as a result, if you're using Bold Trail before the end of the year, you need to download your customers from that so you can upload them to Lofty. So that's what I will be doing. I have been using Bold Trail, and I will continue to use Bold Trail up until the end, and then I will download my base of people and upload them to Lofty. So that's that's my intention in terms of how to handle the change. And so I'm just pointing that out to you. If you have a database on Bold Trail, then you need to download it before the end of the year. If you want to continue to use Bold Trail on your own, you're welcome to do that. I would reach out to them direct and see what they would charge you to continue to use their service. So if you want to continue using Bold Trail, you can, just not through me. I will be providing Lofty. So that's all the updates for Realty World and Realty World Indy. Now, questions from you on any topic. So anything that you'd like to discuss, feel free to ask me a question. And you have to unmute yourself. So if you're talking to me right now, I can't hear you because you're muted.
Hey, Jim, I had a question from clients this weekend. We had looked at a house. The house was advertised having 4 bedrooms.
Yes.
One of the bedrooms was like a loft without a dedicated door to it and like a railing instead of a wall. You could
Yeah.
convert it to a bedroom, but you need to put a door and a wall on it. And the other was like a basement bedroom that had a old egress window in it, but I don't even think I could fit out of it, and it was high off the ground, so it wouldn't qualify by today's code. It might have then, but it doesn't now. And so the customer was like, they felt it was wrong for them to advertise it as 4 bedrooms and asked me what the recourse is for that if that happens. My answer was I would have to report that agent to MIBOR, and that's usually not a productive thing to do, especially if you're going to offer on the house. So it's, but
Yeah, yeah. If you're offering on the house, you don't want to ruffle. Yeah, that's the age-old thing of people advertising something that's not true. So it should be reported to MIBOR. So if you view a listing like that, and um, then you should report it to MIBOR if you're not going to offer on that property. You should report it. And there's ways to do that that are pretty easy to do. And again, most of us feel like, well, my board's not going to do anything anyhow. Well, if it gets reported often enough, they might do something. And so the main thing is if we don't police ourselves, nobody's out there policing us. And so my board themselves are not going in these properties and seeing whether a bedroom's really a bedroom. So if it's not, if the agent's advertising something that it's not, then it needs to be reported. They need to understand you can't do that, you know, much as you want to.
yeah, now those reports though, attach your name with them, right? Like they'll
I
know who reported them.
I think that I think that it's anonymous. And I don't think that if they go to the agent and say, hey, there's a problem, I don't think they say, hey, Blake Deering at Realty World
Okay.
Indy made this complaint against you.
Yeah,
I don't
because
think they say that. But you could ask them just to be sure, but I don't think that they do. I think it's anonymous.
yeah, and this one was unique too. It was the homeowner that is also the realtor.
Yeah.
so so that complicated matters there. I mean, the customer didn't really care that much about it. We could all use that to our advantage in offering
Yeah.
based on the information we know. But
Right.
he was just he asked that question. I was like, well, I believe this is the answer, and sounds
Yeah.
like I was right. That's
Blake,
the recourse. Yeah,
Blake, it sounds like the lofted one for sure. That sounds sketch, calling that a bedroom. But the other one, so I had a house, my own personal house in Broad Ripple years ago. It was we had one bedroom in the basement that had it was not an egress window. Like not at all an egress window. And but it had a door and it had a closet, and looking back in all of the previous listings of the home, it had always been called a bedroom.
yeah.
And I knew when I was listing it that it was not technically a bedroom without that egress window. I asked MIBOR about it before listing it, and they were like, they told me it was grandfathered in since it had always been listed, and it was fine to keep it that way.
And that's kind of the answer I gave them about the basement bedroom. I said, when they built this and they put that in, that might have met code then to
Yeah.
be qualified as a bedroom. And so that one they had a little bit more understanding on. The loft was not even
Yeah.
close to being a bedroom. It is.
Yeah. And there is that grandfather clause in there that we can be aware of. So, um, again, it doesn't qualify. And if it were me, I would, and I were listing a property like that, and it's grandfathered in, I'd probably put that in there, but I would also probably put a note in agent to agent remarks that the bedroom does not have a true egress window or something to that effect, just to protect myself from um, from future possible litigation.
Yeah, and I've seen that, and the reason it's really detrimental on a listing. In this case, the house, if you didn't count either of those bedrooms, it'd be a two-bedroom house, and it
Yeah,
wouldn't come up in anybody's searches.
right,
When practically for use wise, you can definitely use these as bedrooms.
right.
Um, and so I think that's a good route to go if you're listing one is to just make, and I've seen that on a lot of listings, and that's probably why, because they want to at least get into the searches and then disclose that true bedrooms are questionable here.
Yeah, exactly. I think if you explain what you're doing, then that heads off any problems with it. So you called it a bedroom so it would show up in the search, but then you put a disclaimer in there explaining it. So I think that's a good approach. Yeah.
The other thing, the same agent, that's just so she had two parcels with 10 acres.
Uh-huh.
And she told me, she's like, well, my board would only let me put 5 in. So she put in notes that it was 10 acres. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you can just type in the acres. I don't think it has
Yeah.
to reconcile that
Well,
with the tax record.
there's acreage. So when you're searching, you can search by um,
Number of acres. Yeah.
number of acres. But I think it is a number that you put in. You know,
Right. So she
been a
she
while
felt she
since
was restricted by that.
it's
And
been a while since I listed acreage, but yeah,
yeah.
unless
So
something changed with Connect BLC,
yeah.
you can put acreage, the exact acreage in. Yes.
Which was funny. She didn't override that, but she fudged the bedrooms. I was like, you're missing all the people who are searching for 10 acres.
Yeah, there are some agents out there and some agents that are brokers that absolutely don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I think she pre-filled from the, you know how you can pre-fill from the tax records,
Mhm.
and that pre-filled the 5 acres because it was only one parcel,
Yeah,
and she didn't know how to override that.
yeah, yeah. Okay, any other questions? Okay, we'll move on then to
Hold on, I have a
standard.
question. I have a question, Mr. James. Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself. Okay, my listing expired last week, and 2 days before it expired, I had a realtor that called me, and she was outside of the house, and she's like, "It says you need a 2 hour notice, but I'm outside with my clients. Can you see if we can go in and see it right now?" So I gave her the code, not through Broker, I gave her the code through message, and she went and showed it to her clients. The listing, I told her, is about to expire in 2 days. So she waited until it expired, and she called me the next day and she asked me, do you still talk to your clients? I'm like, yes. She's like, well, I'm willing to put an offer. The house was listed for 269. She's like, the offer will be 255. But my clients went to Mexico for vacation. So I told her they're on vacations, but I'll let you know as soon as I can talk to them. I talked to my clients. They said they were going to call me back as soon as they had an answer for me, and they didn't call me back until 3 days after. When my client calls me back, she calls me back and says that the realtor went knocking to her door, to her house, and she sent them an offer, and they're working with that offer. I'm pretty sure they're working. I don't know yet. I haven't gone to pick up my lockbox. I have to go this week because they got back yesterday from Mexico, but
Mhm.
I think they're working with that offer. What do I have to do there? Can I do something or no?
Well, uh, that's a case of expired listing. It's no longer your listing. The listing contract, though, does have a provision in it that if um, and you'll have to check what you put in there. But if you're through your efforts, someone buys the property that saw it while it was listed and then tried to buy it after it expired, that they might still owe you a commission. So you want to read that portion of the contract, and then you may want to get legal assistance because I'm not I'm not a lawyer. I can't advise you legally on that. So you may want to talk to an attorney to see if you have any recourse against the buyer. But that's a case where your client, your seller didn't protect you at all.
But
Uh,
it said, do I have to go against the seller or against the other realtor? Because the other realtor knocked at the door
it's against
and
the seller. The other realtor's doing the other realtor it's not listed anymore by you. They're free to go and list that property.
but
Once it
she sent
expires,
me, but I have messages that she sent me where she's asking me like, I'm gonna send an offer can you talk to them and see if they will accept it? So I thought
yeah,
it was
but
against the
it's
realtor.
not listed, Maria. You have no contract. So
So
you have
as a
no
seller.
contract with the seller. The buyer's agent's perfectly free to go and contact the seller direct. If you do not have a contract with them, the buyer's agent could list that property. So, they're probably going to do a list and sold type thing.
Mhm.
That's why it's so important to relist properties. I mean, one thing you can do when it's coming up on expiration is write a new contract before it expires. Maybe you want to let it expire so it will reset the days on market. That's fine, but then have a new contract ready to go. Otherwise, you're experiencing what can happen. But you may still have recourse against the seller.
There's
I had,
usually a timing clause in the listing agreement too that says so many days after the expiration that
That's what,
that if it closes, you're still owed commission. And you put in the number of days when you do the listing contract. I usually put 45 or 60 just to make
yeah.
sure that there's not a back-to-back transaction that they have waiting, that I make
Mhm.
them wait it out if they're going to try to do something like that.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Go back and look in your listing contract to see if that's in there. And if it is, then you might want to call that to the seller's attention. And hopefully you documented all your communications with the other agent so that it's clear that that happened prior to expiration of the listing.
I had a situation one time, and I was a broker at that time in Florida, and the agent came to me and said, Angela, they're selling the house to a buyer that I was showing the property and all that. And so I spoke with the other broker, and at closing, they gave a percentage to the buyer, to the realtor that was under me. So, and it's called the procuring cost. You show the property, the buyer decided to go with the other person. So I think it's between broker and broker in this case, but in Indiana does everything different. But that was my experience.
Yeah. Um, you know, there's lots of different ways to work these kind of situations out if the parties want to work them out. So,
I didn't think it was going to be against the seller. I thought it was against the broker. I don't know why.
no, no, against the seller. The broker's doing their job. There's nothing wrong that the buyer broker has done. Okay, it expired and it wasn't relisted.
Mm-hmm.
And they
No,
got
but
no
she's
answer, and they submitted an offer, right, which with no answer, no response. So the offer was submitted prior to expiration, right?
no. The offer, she never sent an offer to me. She waited until it expired and then went to the buyer's house, and then she submitted the offer to the buyer, not to me, to the
Okay,
buyer. She
okay.
went to her house, knocked at the door, and spoke probably to the son because the son was there, and asked them for their email because she wanted to write an offer on the house, and she wrote the offer on the house.
Okay. It's expired, so they can do that. I mean, unless you had a contract, another contract, then
No.
an expired listing is an expired listing. It's open to anyone then at that point to
And I
pursue.
was okay with it because my client already told me they wanted to cancel the contract a month before, and I told her, well, if you cancel it now, I have to charge you a certain amount of money. But if you wait, then it's expired because they wanted to sell it to a wholesaler. The thing is that I don't think it's right when they're selling it to somebody that went to see it when I had it listed. That's not right. So
Well,
I thought that's
that's why you have a provision in your listing contract that
I'm gonna
protects
check it.
you. It's the seller that you're protecting yourself from.
And if the seller was going to sell it to a wholesaler, I wouldn't, it's like you said, the listing is expired. I wouldn't care. I mean, it's okay. They're selling to somebody, it's expired. But it
Yeah.
got me my seller called me and she's like, you know what, we got an offer from this realtor. When she gave me the name, I'm like, oh, she's like, I think it's the realtor that you showed the house. So she even told me it was the realtor that you showed the house that you were asking me because they didn't. She's like, we don't have signal over here in Mexico, so we have our time answering. But they did answer to her, and they answered all the emails, and they
So
got the offer and everything.
the buyer saw the house when it was listed, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then you have recourse through your contract if you filled that section out on your contract. So go back to
Okay.
your listing contract, take a look at it, and then pursue that through your seller
Mm-hmm.
because your seller's still obligated to you for that, and they need to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and
Okay.
you may need to have a conversation with the buyer's agent since the buyer's agent knew that you had it under contract and
I sent her an email and told her, you know what, my clients are probably want to accept your offer, but they're on vacations and I'm waiting for their answer and they're going to be back on Monday. And she never responded. And I sent her 2 emails. She never responded back. She never
Yeah.
responded to any of my emails anymore, so. she's
Right,
not
so
gonna-
you didn't respond on Monday, right? To
No,
the survey, huh?
yesterday? No, it was last week.
Yeah, I mean, Monday of last week, right?
No, what do you mean?
Okay, so when did the offer get submitted?
Maybe they offered probably like Thursday last week.
Thursday of last week.
Maybe. I'm not sure what
Okay,
day.
and when were you trying to get a response for them? Was it Monday of that week?
Oh, no, Monday of this week. My clients were back yesterday, Monday of this week.
Okay, so then how did they accept an offer if they weren't back yet?
No, they sent them the offer. I don't know if they accepted or not yet. I'm not sure if they accepted it. They told me they had the offer and they were reviewing it, and
Yeah.
that she told them the amount they were gonna get and everything, but I don't know if they accepted it or not yet. I
But
haven't checked.
you need to let your seller know that they're still on the hook for commission.
I have to go. I have to go pick up my lockbox. I'm gonna go probably tomorrow, so I'm gonna talk to them in person and tell them, if you guys accept this offer, you're gonna have to pay commission to me.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be much more because she's charging almost nothing because she's getting the commission from the buyer and the seller, so she's charging them less.
Yeah. Okay.
That's how she got my buyers.
Okay. Well, let me know how that ends up. Okay.
I will.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. We'll continue on then. And what I'm going to do here is share my screen with you. So I've shared my screen, and you should be seeing on your screen my PowerPoint screen. Stand out or scroll by. How to build a digital presence that gets you clients. And that's what this um, uh, training is all about, is building your digital presence. Nowadays, if you don't have a digital storefront, if you don't have a digital presence, you're you're just really not going to get much business. So why does your digital presence matter so much? Well, first of all, 90%, 97% of buyers start their search online.
Football team or whatever, you're not expecting some sweetheart trade deal in
Could you
exchange
keep yourself?
for giving.
97% of buyers start their search online. We know that. We've heard that statistic numerous times. It's on our listing presentation. First impressions happen before they ever meet you. People research you online. Your digital footprint equals your first showing. Okay. So, what that means is, can people find you digitally online? Let me give you a good example here. So I just sold that house over in the Admirals Bay after a long time on the market. But I noticed something interesting about my clients. I sold that house one time before, and they were very good at researching who their buyers were. So as soon as they would get an offer with the buyer's name on it, one of the first things they would do is look on all the social media to see what they could learn about their buyer. And so they knew who their buyer was, where they worked, and et cetera, before they even responded to the offer. And so the offer from the person that ultimately bought the house and closed on it, they knew that person worked at Lilly. They knew they were single. They knew all the information about this person, where? From their social media, from their digital footprint, LinkedIn, etc. So I guarantee you, if they, before they worked with me as their agent, I guarantee you they looked at me online first, and that was probably one of the reasons why they selected me, because I had an online presence. So if someone Googled your name today, what would they find? And this is a great exercise for you to do. Go in, Google your name, and see what comes up. See if you come up. And Google your name like Jim Jordan Realtor. See, if I Google my name, Jim Jordan, what comes up is the congressman from Ohio. And he fills up page after page after page. But if you put in Jim Jordan Realtor, I'll come up. So sometimes particularly if you have a name that matches somebody who's popular right now, it will be full of their information. So here's the three pillars. Here's three pillars for you of modern marketing. Number one, visibility. People need to see you. If you don't have a presence online, a significant presence online, I'm not just talking about having a website. I'm talking about having an online presence. Then you don't have a storefront for people to see. So visibility, people need to see you. Credibility, people need to trust you. So when they look online, what are they seeing about you? Can you be trusted? So what are ways that you can show that you can be trusted? Well, you could ask for reviews and then post them online. Okay, so reviews show that that people can trust you. Information that you post that is educational and informational, that shows that people can trust you. It shows them that you know what you're talking about. And engagement, people need to feel connected to you. So you need to seek out ways that you can engage them in your presence. Okay, so let's talk about these pillars individually. So pillar number one, visibility. Be where your ideal clients are. So think about who your ideal client is that you're trying to reach. What niche are you trying to explore? And where would those people be? Where would you find them? What part of the internet would they be on? Um, Update your Google business profile. So go into Google, find your business profile, make sure everything is updated in that profile. Get and if there's no reviews there, try to capture some reviews to put there. You want to post consistently on at least one program or one platform. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Focus on one, but you can post a little bit on all of them. If you're using Back At You and you have set Back at You up properly, Back At You is already posting on multiple platforms for you automatically. So you want to pick one that you're really going to focus your effort on. So, I know a realtor, he decided to focus his effort on Instagram. And so he's the Instagram king. If you go into Instagram, you're going to see his videos because he's there always. So just decide where you're going to be, which platform you like the best. Use video. We've talked about this before. Short reels and walkthroughs build familiarity fast. If someone sees you online, they feel like they know you. And so don't let uh, yourself hold you back from, oh, I don't like the way I sound, or I don't want to, I don't want to video myself. Get over it. Because that's one of the quickest ways for people to feel like they know you. So use that. So here's a tip for you. Do one video per week. One video per week and 10 static posts per month on this media that you're going to focus on. So be it YouTube, be it Facebook, whatever, do one video a week and then 10 static posts per month. keeping in mind the platform usage that you're on. So if you're on Facebook and you only post business stuff, people won't want to be your friend. So make sure you post personal stuff before you post business stuff. So if you're going for 10 static posts per month that are business related, then you probably need 40 static posts that are not business related. Kind of a 4-to-1 ratio. On the other hand, if you're on LinkedIn, LinkedIn's all about business. They don't want to know what you're having for lunch. They don't want to know that your puppies are cute. That's not LinkedIn. LinkedIn's all about business. So on LinkedIn, you do want business posts. You do want informational posts. You don't want these puppy dogs and what you're having to eat on there. Okay? So moving on. Pillar number 2, credibility. So how do you build credibility? Well, the goal is to build trust before the conversation starts. That's one of the key elements is build the trust before the conversation starts. You can do that by using a professional headshot and consistent branding. So professional headshot. Most of you have a headshot that's professional. You want to ask yourself, how recent is it? So if they met you and they only had your professional headshot, would they recognize you? If not, then you need to get a new headshot that matches how you look now. So make sure you have a current headshot and that it's done by a professional. Ask every one of your happy clients for a Google or a Zillow review. Ask them to go on Google or go on Zillow and give you a review. That's how you're going to build credibility. Share your success stories and testimonials. Real clients, real results. So if you're posting on social media and you have a closing, make sure you share that success story. Try to get a testimonial from your clients that you could share and get their permission, by the way, to share it. So here's your challenge. How many 5-star reviews could you add this month to either Zillow or Google? 5-star reviews. I'm sure you've got people out there that would give you a 5-star review. And if they like you well enough to give a 5-star review, they'd probably do it online for you if you asked them. So you might ask them to give you that 5-star review. Now, pillar number 3, engagement. So how do you engage people? So the goal here is to build a real connection online to have some dialogue with them. So the first thing to do is reply to every comment and message. So if you post something and somebody comments on it, reply to that comment. Like it, reply to it. You know, if somebody messages you, reply to that. So make sure that you're replying to everything. You can use interactive type posts. So you can use polls, questions, and stories to invite conversation. So you can say, which of these 2 kitchens do you like the best? Or do you like the looks of this kitchen or whatever? And in other words, what you're doing is inviting them to engage with your post. Show some personal content, not just listings. So if all you're doing is posting your new listings on there, you're not going to get much traction with that and much interaction with that, particularly if they're not interested in that particular property. So make sure you have personal content included as well. So here's your challenge. You can make a post like this. What's your favorite local fall festival? And then go, I'll start, and then you name your favorite fall festival. Okay. And what you're doing is you're trying to invite them to respond and say, here's my favorite fall festival. And so they list it. So that's a great way to get people to engage with you on the internet and get digital engagement. So here's some quick wins you can do this week. This week coming up. Number one, Google your name, audit your online results. Do that. Do that as soon as you get off this call. Post a short 30-second meet your agent video. Okay, so just do a video of yourself, meet your agent, and post that. Ask 3 clients for online reviews, just 3. 3 clients for online reviews. Pick a client that will give you a 5-star review and that would be happy to give you a review, but ask them to do that. And keep in mind, action creates visibility, and visibility creates opportunity. And so that's our training for today on digital presence and growing your business digitally. So please take into account that those things that you can do and try to move through that this week. You know, don't put it off. If you put it off, you won't do it. So try to do it this week. Anything else for the good of the cause before we go? Okay. If there's nothing else for the good of the cause, then we are